Be me, 31F, Director of Holistic Guest Immersion at Gaia's Breath, ultra-luxury glamping resort nestled in the deep Rockies of Montana. We don't sell rooms, we sell transformative nature baths. Guests pay $4, $500 a night to sleep in canvas tents that cost more than my student loans. My job is to curate the vibe. Ensure the energy flow between the high-net-worth individuals and the ancient forest is seamless. My office is a heated geodesic dome, separate from the main lodge. Himalayan salt lamps everywhere. Tibetan singing bowls on my desk. I burn a custom blend of sage and Palo Santo every hour to cleanse the operational stagnation. Report directly to Julian, the owner. Julian is 28, made a fortune in Ethereum, manages the resort from a penthouse in Miami. He visits once a quarter to take selfies with elk and leaves. Gives me total control over the soft product. The hard product is the wilderness. Unfortunately, the wilderness requires maintenance. Enter the rangers. Local mountain men hired to handle the trails, wildlife safety, and firewood. They are the antithesis of everything Gaia's Breath stands for. Rough, loud, smelling of gasoline and dried meat. Lead Ranger is a guy named Buck. 6 feet 4 inches, beard like a bird's nest, hands like catchers, mitts. Wears flannel that looks like it was bought during the Reagan administration. Drives a beat-up Chevy Silverado that leaks oil onto my pristine, gravel driveway. I call it the pollinator because it spreads toxicity. Buck thinks his job is to keep guests from dying. I keep telling him his job is to facilitate their spiritual awakening. He doesn't get it. Typical patriarchal obsession with survival over soul. Summer season is peaking. Resort is at 98% occupancy. Tech CEOs, Instagram models, a few minor royals. The vibe is delicate. I implement a silence and solitude policy until 10 a.m. No engines, no loud talking, just the wind in the pines. Tuesday, 7:15 a.m. I'm doing my morning yoga flow on the meditation deck. Downward dog facing the sunrise. Suddenly, the sound of a chainsaw rips through the valley. It's deafening. Sounds like a mechanical scream tearing the fabric of the morning. I scramble up, grab my walkie-talkie, which I call the connection rod. Buck, come in. Buck, we have a noise violation in Sector 4. Static. Then a grunt. Tree down on the access road, Sierra. Gotta clear it before the supply truck gets here. He calls me Sierra. My name is Sloan. I changed it to Sloan because it sounds more grounded. He knows this. Buck, can we use handsaws? The noise is violent. It's traumatizing the local fauna and the guests. It's a 2-ton ponderosa pine, darlin'. I ain't gnawing through it with a beaver. Out. He cuts the radio. I can feel my cortisol spiking. I have to do breath work for 20 minutes, just to recenter. Later that day, I call a mandatory alignment meeting. The rangers trudge into the lodge conference room. Muddy boots on the heated slate floors. They look like they'd rather be wrestling bears. I stand at the front, wearing my sustainable hemp linen tunic. Gentlemen, we need to talk about the energetic footprint of your team. Buck leans back in his chair, picking his teeth with a splinter. Footprint? We wear boots, ma'am. Lots of mud out there. The other guys snicker. A guy named Tiny, who is definitely not tiny, is cleaning his fingernails with a hunting knife. I flinch. Weaponry in the safe space. I'm talking about the energy you project, the chainsaws, the trucks, the odors. I gesture to the room. It smells like wet dog and sawdust. Our guests are highly sensitive empaths. They come here to detox. Your presence is retoxing them. Buck sighs, the sound of a tired engine. We keep the trails clear, we keep the heaters running, we scare off the cougars. You want us to do that with fairy dust? I want you to use mindfulness. Electric ATVs instead of diesels, manual tools, and regarding the wildlife. I pull up a slide on the projector. It's a diagram of a coexistent circle. I've noticed you carrying bear spray and firearms. This projects fear. Animals sense fear and react with aggression. Buck sits up straighter. Bears react to being hungry, ma'am, and tourists smell like snacks. We don't call them tourists, they are seekers. And we don't use weapons, we use boundaries. If you encounter a bear, I want you to hold space, project authority without violence. Buck looks at Tiny. Tiny looks at Buck. You want me to hold space for a grizzly? Yes, it's about intention. Buck stands up. Okay, sure, we'll project intention. Can we go? Filter pump on the hot spring is clogged with hair extensions. They leave before I can assign the emotional homework. I feel unheard. I decide to take control of their environment. If I can't change their minds, I'll change their inputs. Diet is the root of aggression. I investigate their bunkhouse, a maintenance shed on the edge of the property. It's a horror show. A chest freezer full of elk meat wrapped in butcher paper. Shelves lined with canned chili, beef jerky, and Folgers coffee. No wonder they are so hostile. They are running on cortisol and dead animal vibration. I go to the kitchen lead, Chef Henri, a French genius who hates everyone but loves my budget. Henri, from now on, the staff meals for the ranger team are to be strictly plant-based, anti-inflammatory, high vibration. Henri shrugs. They will riot, madame. Let them. It's a detox. They'll thank me when their chakras align. Next day, lunch. Instead of their usual beef stew, Henri sends out quinoa bowls with roasted chickpeas and kale, and kombucha instead of coffee. I watch from my office window with binoculars. Buck opens the cooler, stares at the quinoa, picks up a chickpea, examines it like it's an alien egg. He dumps the entire tray into the woods for the birds. They get in their trucks and drive into town, 40 minutes away. They come back an hour later with bags from Big Al's barbecue, eating ribs on the tailgate of the Silverado right in front of the reception yurt. Grease dripping onto the pristine snow-white gravel. The smell of hickory smoke wafts into the check-in area. A guest, a vegan influencer named Moonbeam, wrinkles her nose. Is there a forest fire? She asks. No, I say, smiling tightly. Just the maintenance team processing some biomass. I am seething. This is insubordination. But I can't fire them yet. Julian says good help is hard to find in the mountains. I decide to hit them where it hurts, the gear. I issue a new policy, the harmonic noise ordinance. All gas-powered equipment is banned between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Only electric tools allowed. And I replace their bear spray with animal deterrent bells and whistles. I call Buck into my office to deliver the news. He looks at the box of bells. You taking my spray? It's chemical warfare, Buck. It's inhumane to blind an animal just because it's curious. The bells warn them away gently. Buck's face turns a shade of red I've never seen. Sloan, listen to me. The rut is starting. Bull elk are aggressive. Bears are fattening up for winter. A whistle ain't gonna stop 800 pounds of hungry muscle. Not with that attitude. Trust the protocol. He takes the box of bells. Doesn't say a word. Just looks at me with eyes like cold flint. Walks out. I mark it down as a victory for nonviolent communication. October rolls around. The golden season. We have a VIP booking. Tech billionaire, founder of a disruption app, wants to rent the entire Celestial Camp, the 5 most expensive tents on the ridge. He's bringing his board of directors for a vision quest. Revenue is huge, Julian calls me. Sloan, make this perfect. If this guy likes it, he buys out the whole winter season. Consider it manifested, Julian. The VIP, let's call him Elon Light, arrives via helicopter. He wants raw nature. He wants the edge. But he also wants 1,000 thread count sheets and matcha lattes. The weather forecast looks spotty. Early winter storm front moving in. Buck intercepts me on the way to the welcome ceremony. Storm's coming, Sloan. Big one. Barometer is dropping like a rock. We need to stage firewood at the tents and check the propane lines. No firewood, I snap. Elon Light specifically requested a carbon-neutral experience. Wood smoke is a pollutant. We are using the electric heaters and the solar battery reserves. Batteries won't hold if it drops below 0, and the lines go down in heavy snow, we need wood backup. You are addicted to catastrophe, Buck. The solar array is state-of-the-art. Do not disturb the aesthetic with dirty logs. Buck looks at the sky. It's turning a bruised purple. I'm staging the wood behind the ridge, just in case. If I see one log, I'm docking your pay. He grunts and walks off. The vision quest begins. Elon Light and his disciples are doing a drum circle on the ridge. I'm watching from the lodge, sipping herbal tea. Everything is perfect. Then the wind starts. Not a breeze, a howl. Temperature drops 20 degrees in an hour. Snow starts falling sideways. It's beautiful at first, very atmospheric. Then the lights flicker. The solar batteries are draining fast because the heaters are cranked to max. My walkie crackles. It's Buck. Grid is struggling, Sloan. Snow is heavy. We're gonna lose the main line. Don't manifest negativity, Buck. Just reset the breakers. It ain't a breaker. It's physics. You need to move the guests to the main lodge. Impossible. They are in the middle of a ayahuasca breathing session. We cannot interrupt the flow. 10 minutes later. Total darkness. The entire resort goes black. The wind is screaming now, shaking the geodesic dome. My salt lamp goes out. Panic sets in immediately. Not my panic, of course. I am centered. But I know the guests will be confused. I grab a flashlight and head out into the storm. It's brutal. The snow is like needles. I struggle up the path to the celestial camp. I see the tents flapping violently in the wind. Inside the main VIP tent, it's chaos. Elon Light is shivering in his cashmere poncho. Where is the heat? My aura is freezing. Just a minor technical recalibration, I yell over the wind. Focus on your inner fire. Suddenly a ripping sound. One of the adjacent tents tears open, canvas shreds. A guest screams. And then, a different sound. A low, guttural roar from the tree line. It's not the wind. I shine my flashlight. Eyes. Glowing yellow eyes. A massive black shape is moving toward the tents. Bear. A big one. Confused by the storm, attracted by the smell of the vegan protein bars in the welcome baskets. The guests are screaming now. Bear! Oh God, bear! I remember my training. I step forward, shaking in my minimalist boots. Stay calm, I yell to the guests. I will hold space. I pull out the animal deterrent bell. I ring it aggressively. Jingle, jingle, jingle. The bear stops. It looks at me. It looks at the bell. It does not look deterred. It looks annoyed. It huffs, a cloud of steam erupting from its snout. It takes a step toward me. My intention collapses instantly. I am just a mammal in a hemp tunic holding a tiny bell. I freeze. Fight or flight is broken. I choose freeze. The bear rears up slightly, sniffing. Then, crack. A gunshot echoes through the valley. The bear spins around, startled, and bolts into the darkness. Another shot fired into the air. Then, the roar of an engine. 2 snowmobiles burst through the tree line. Headlights blinding. It's Buck and Tiny. They slide to a halt, looking like storm gods. Buck jumps off, holding a rifle, which he wasn't supposed to have. He ignores me completely. Everybody up, get in the sleds, we're moving to the lodge. Now. His voice is not a suggestion, it is a command of nature. The tech billionaires do not argue, they scramble into the sleds like terrified children. Buck looks at me. Get on the back, Sloan. But, the protocol, I stammer. You used a firearm. Get on, the sled. I get on the sled. We race back to the lodge. The power is out there too, but there is light. A massive fire is roaring in the stone hearth. Buck had staged wood. He had staged piles of it. The guests huddle around the fire, wrapped in blankets. Chef Henri is there, heating up soup on a camping stove. It's not vegan soup. It smells like beef broth. Elon Light is holding a mug of it, shivering. This is primal, he whispers. This is authentic. He loves it. He thinks we planned the survival scenario. I stand in the corner, melting snow dripping from my tunic. Buck walks over, brushing snow off his beard. He leans his rifle against the wall. Power lines are down for 5 miles. Roads are blocked. We're stuck here for 2 days. We have plenty of kale chips, I whisper weakly. No, we don't. Guests are cold. They need fat and heat. He points to the kitchen. Tiny is carrying in the cooler from the bunkhouse. The toxic cooler. They start grilling the elk steaks and heating the chili. The smell fills the lodge. Rich, gamey, smoky meat smell. The guests are ravenous. The vegan influencer is eating jerky with both hands. I watch my curated culture crumble. The holistic immersion is dead. The survivalist bunker is alive. Buck takes charge. He organizes shifts to keep the fire going. He tells stories about the mountains. The guests hang on his every word. They don't want to hear about mindfulness. They want to hear about how he tracked a cougar for 3 days. I am invisible. My bells are in the snow somewhere. 2 days later, the plows break through. The guests are evacuated. Elon Light shakes Buck's hand. Best retreat ever. Real leadership. Raw. He doesn't even look at me. Julian calls me on the sat phone. Sloan, I heard what happened. It was a dynamic situation, Julian. I managed the energy flow. Buck told me you tried to jingle a bell at a 600-pound black bear. It's a recognized deterrent method. And that you forbade firewood in a blizzard. Carbon neutrality is our brand. You're fired, Sloan. Pack your singing bowls. Buck is the new general manager. Buck? He's a savage. He eats gluten. He kept my investors alive. Get out. I pack my yurt in silence. I have to ask Tiny for a ride to town because my Tesla is dead and the solar chargers are buried. He drives me in the Silverado. The cab smells like old coffee and wet dog. It's warm. It feels safe. He drops me off at the Greyhound station in the nearest town. I sit on the bench, waiting for the bus to Portland. I'm freezing. I haven't eaten in 24 hours because I refused the elk chili. Across the street, there's a diner. Pal's Burgers. I watch people walking out, wiping grease off their faces. They look happy, grounded. I look at my luggage, a bag full of crystals and a yoga mat. I am shivering uncontrollably. My chakras are frozen. I walk across the street. Enter the diner. Smells like fried onions and animal fat. Waitress calls me Han. What can I get you? I look at the menu. Double cheeseburger, bacon, extra fries, and a milkshake. Vegan option? She asks, seeing my hemp clothes. No, I say. I want the dead stuff. She brings it. I take a bite. Grease runs down my chin. It tastes like survival. It tastes like reality. I eat the whole thing. I cry a little bit into the ketchup. I check my phone. LinkedIn notification. Buck has updated his profile, General Manager at Gaia's Breath. Post caption, keeping it real in the Rockies. Fire is warm, meat is good, stay safe out there. 10,000 likes. I finish my milkshake and get on the bus. I leave the crystals in the trash can.